Hello. In this video, we're going to continue our study of combinations. So let's start with just a warm-up question. The teacher of a mathematics class of 7 boys and 4 girls wants to form a team of 5 students to participate in a mathematics competition. If the team must have exactly 2 girls, how many different teams are possible? Well, if we're going to have exactly 2 girls, then that means we also have to have exactly 3 boys, because 2 plus 3 makes 5 for the total grouping of students for the competition. And then we can use our choose formula or combination formula to figure this out, because if we want exactly 2 girls and there's 4 girls present, we have 4C2 options for the girls. And then if we are looking at the boys, we have 7C3 options for the boys. Now, this is a multiplication between the two numbers, because it's sort of like if you were choosing your shoes and then you're choosing your pants, or you're choosing here your type of crust and then you're choosing your toppings. You're making like one group at the end of the day, and so this is all one case, one situation, and so it all has to be multiplied together. So we go ahead and type in 4C2 on our calculator. You can do this either in one go or one step at a time. It doesn't matter. That will be 6. 7C3 is going to be 35. And so we get 6 times 35, which is 210. So there are 210 different teams that are possible. All right, let's extend this a little bit and make it more interesting. What if the team must have at least 2 girls? How many different teams are possible? So again, just remember we have 7 boys in the class and we have 4 girls, and we are making a team of 5 students. But now it's not exactly 2 girls, it's at least 2 girls. So pause the video and see if you can give this a try. All right, assuming you gave it a try here, to have at least 2 girls means we have multiple cases. So we can have either the case with 2 girls, we have the case with 3 girls, the case with 4 girls, but we're not going to be able to have 5 girls on the team. Even though there's room for 5 students, we only have a maximum of 4 girls in the class. So the most we could have on a team is the case with 4 girls. All right, let's do each one of these cases. So for 2 girls, 4C2 times 7C3. So that's going to give you 210 different teams, just the same as we had on the last example. Now let's say you had 3 girls. Well, here you'd have 4C3 times 7C2. Because if you're having 3 girls, then that means you only have 2 boys for the total of 5 members. And so this has to change from a 3 to a 2. Let's even write down here for 4 girls, that means you're going to have 1 boy, just so we know. All right, so let's do the 4C3 times 7C2. That's going to give us 84 different teams. And here we have 4C4 times 7C1, because you only get to choose 1 boy. So 4C4 times 7C1 is going to give us 7. Now, just as a quick note here on the side, 4C4, if you type this on your calculator, this equals 1, which kind of makes sense because if you have 4 girls and you're choosing 4 of them to be on your team, you're just choosing all the girls, and there's only one way to do that, which is just take them all. So it should make logical sense that 4C4 equals just 1. All right, so now we have these numbers. We have 210, 84, and 7. What do we do with them all? Well, because they're all different cases, we have to add them up. So we do 210 plus 84 plus 7, and that gives you a total of 301 different teams. All right, so again, let's continue this problem. Let's see how many teams you could have if there was at least 2 boys. Now remember, for our setup, we have the same situation. There are 7 boys, there are 4 girls, and you need a team of 5 students. So pause the video and see if you can give this one a try. All right, so you should have the case with 2 boys, the case with 3 boys, the case with 4 boys, and you can have the case with 5 boys because there are 7 boys to choose from, so you can have all of them. You can have a full team with all 5 of them being boys. Okay, so 7C2, that's how you'd have the 7 boys choose 2 of them, multiplied by 5C, oh, not 5, 4 girls, 4C3. 7C3 times 4C2, 7C4 times 4C1, and this is 7C5. You could multiply by 4C0 if you wanted. It's like choosing 0 girls. But this will actually just equal 1. And if you times anything by 1, it doesn't change it. So you don't really have to write 4C0. In fact, if you want to just write 7C5 and say, well, we're just having 7 boys choose 5 of them, don't write another term, that's totally fine too. So let's go ahead and calculate each one of these cases. We're going to get 7C2 times 4C3, that will be 84. 210, 140, and 21. So that's going to add up to 84 plus 210 plus 140 plus 21, 455 different teams. All right, one more problem. Let's say we have a hand of 5 cards with at most 2 hearts. How many hands are possible? So if you haven't done much with cards, there are actually going to be 4 different suits. There are hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spades. And when it comes to a deck of cards, there are 52 total. Now, those are split up evenly between each one of the suits. So that means when you're looking at the hearts, there are 13 hearts, 13 diamonds, 13 clubs, and 13 spades. All right, so we need at most 2 hearts. So let me do the first case for you here. So let's do the case with 2 hearts. That would be 13 hearts, choose 2 of them, times, well, how many are not hearts? So if you have 2 hearts and you need to have a total of 5 cards, that means you would need 3 non-hearts, right? If you have 2 hearts and 3 non-hearts, that makes for your 5 cards. And how many are non-hearts? Well, this one, and this one are the non-hearts, which add to a total of 39. So here you'd have 39 non-hearts to choose from, and you'd need to choose 3 of them. So 13C2 times 39C3. It's going to give 712842. A lot of different options, but that's what happens when you play a game of cards. There's so many different possible hands. So let's see if you can get the other 2 cases. I'll give you a sec to pause the video and give it a try. All right, you should have the case with 1 heart and the case with 0 hearts. 1 heart is 13C1 times 39C4, and 0 hearts will just be 39C5. Okay, 13 choose 1, 39 choose 4, 10692363, 39 choose 5, 575757. And so if we add these all together, we should get 2357862. So 2 million different possible hands that have at most 2 hearts. Again, there's so many different combinations when you're dealing with cards, which is why people play cards. Every time you play, it feels like a different game of cards. You never really get the same hand twice. All right, so let's take some notes on this. Again, what we're doing here is cases with combinations. Cases with combinations. And so just like before, you add the cases, but you multiply in each case. And so this is the challenge, right? If you have different things going on, it's sort of like the blank method. You can think about it. It's like you have some NCR times some other something C something, and that gives you a number. And then you have some other NCR times some other something C something, and that gives you a number. And so if you notice, you are multiplying. You are multiplying right here. But when you go to get your final answer, you have to add between these two numbers. And so you have to be adding right over here. And it's important that you are able to distinguish between each one. If you add when you're supposed to multiply or multiply when you're supposed to add, obviously you won't get the correct answer. So let's try a quick example. Let's say you have 4 cats, 3 dogs, and you want to take 2 animals for a walk, and you want to have at most 2 cats. How many different options do you have? All right, so we would have 3 cases. We could have 2 cats, we'd have 1 cat, or we have 0 cats. If we have 2 cats, we'd have 4C2, and we wouldn't have any dogs, so we just get 4C2. If we have 1 cat, we'd have 4C1 times 3C1. If we have no cats, we'd have 3C2. So 4C2 is going to give us 6. 4C1 times 3C1 is going to give us 12, and 3C2 is going to give us 3. We add between each one of these cases. That gives us a total of 21 different combinations we could have for our walk. For some extra practice, look at worksheet 9 and 9.5. And then you can add any things to remember. You might want to write down some information about cards in case you've never really played with them, in terms of the 52 of them, the 4 suits, and things like that. On a test or on an exam, if you do forget some of the stuff about cards, I could explain that to you again briefly, but you do want to know sort of the basics of how cards work, because these come up on a lot of the worksheets or on some of the review problems as well. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks for watching.